Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the series. I hope everyone is doing well. In our last video, which you should go watch by the way, we introduced the series' main focus, Tyler the Creator's Cherry Bomb. We discussed Tyler before the Cherry Bomb era. While not being mainstream, he had a very dedicated fan base. He was in the rap collective Odd Future and had just released a critically acclaimed project that showed clear maturity and depth in his production and rapping ability. However, despite the success, Tyler was never truly accepted into the hip hop community. He never fit the stereotype that was associated with many other popular rappers, leaving him in a state of being present but unacknowledged. So instead of giving us what he's been giving us, he decided to give us his most experimental album to date, blending different genres and at times moving away from rap altogether. Though initially, due to certain production faults, the album was received poorly by critics, with many even today saying it's his worst project to date. Which, let's be so for real, guys, Goblin is obviously his worst album. I'm fucking radical. I'm fucking like, no, get that shit out of here. Anyways, as we entered into the album, we first looked at Death Camp, the starting track for Cherry Bomb. In Death Camp, it seems like we still have the Tyler we know and love, a carefree and braggadocio rapping style that has been present in his previous entries, with an overtly rough and loud rock instrumental. Tyler has made it far in his career. Millions of people support him and his artistry. But with this comes status, and certain expectations are put upon you. While Tyler loves what he does and is happy he gets to do it as a job, he has grown irritated from these expectations. He was a person that never followed the rules, and that's just who he is. He is not going to follow what is imposed on him, whether it be people of his similar status or his fans. At the end of the song, Tyler seemingly giving an exaggerated name to this lifestyle, a death camp, but Tyler is willing to take us on a journey with him and see what others can't see. And in order to understand that, we must go deeper into Cherry Bomb's narrative with today's subject of the episode, Buffalo. The track starts with a sample that is constantly repeating throughout the song. Yeah, you feel alright? Yeah. This is a line sampled from Bunny Sigler's Shake Your Booty. I read this on the Genius website that the song starting with the sample implies that Tyler is making sure we're okay before we continue moving forward with the album, given the very different sound and what he said on Death Camp. Honestly, I never would have thought about that. I thought it was just a fire sample. Tyler starts the first verse by saying, "God goodness gracious, he can't wait to see the look on y'all N-words faces." Tyler saying this is interesting given this album and how it was received by people. I assume many people had mixed reactions to the different routes this album takes in its genres. Maybe Tyler knew that this album would be divisive. He has that feeling of anticipation, of what people will think of him as they progress through the album. Tyler continues by saying, "That boy T Nuts, surprise his thoughts ain't chafing." Nuts meaning somebody that is mentally unstable, and chafing is when two things rub together, usually to friction. With these two ideas together, your thoughts are clashing with each other and it's making you crazy. But also, if you have the other kind of nuts, you would know that they are sometimes prone to chafing on your clothes. Tyler says, "F them crackers at Mountain Dew, them N-words is racist." This references a crazy and very funny ad for Mountain Dew that Tyler and some of his Odd Future friends did. Though when the album came out, many labeled it as racist, due to the fact that all the people in the mugshot were black, besides the goat. And some even labeled it as misogynistic, leading to PepsiCo taking it down. And Tyler once again adding another controversial moment under his belt. Tyler continues by saying that cabbage was made, critic F slur was shook. Cabbage is a slang term for money. At the end of the day, he made his money and moved on, while critics continue to criticize. The F slur is a word that he's used a lot in his music. While not someone that is homophobic, Tyler uses these words to express his philosophy and the idea that words are subjective. A word doesn't need to have power over people. Since the critics don't like Tyler's choices, he says he'll replace the F slur with the word book. This line, I think, is a form of satire, Tyler changing a very harsh and offensive word into a normal thing. Also, my theory is that Tyler using the word book can like point to ideas of school And some people tend to think that school kind of promotes conformity and limitations. Another expression of the no rules idea that is expressed a lot on this album. Tyler follows up on the little switch he just did by saying, all them books is pissed off and had they pages in a bunch. Another insult with book replacing the F slur. Having their pages in a bunch relates to the original idiom having your panties in a bunch, a crude way of saying someone is upset for no reason. Effing attitude just like a book when it struts. Once again, the F slur being replaced with the word book. And books don't strut. Strutting is walking confidently or proudly. I think he's saying that these critics kind of have polarizing attitudes, with him making the comparison to a gay person with pride. Tyler then exclaims he's a fraud and he prays to God when the 6 triple book is bashing. One more time, Tyler using the word book to replace the F slur. Tyler has always been an outspoken atheist, which gives context to the fraud line. 6 triple refers to the number 666, which is associated with the biblical canon and Satan. F slur bashing could be referring to the mistreatment of LGBTQ+ individuals, with the 666 representing actual evil people, Tyler comparing them to Satan or demons. Tyler expresses his empathy to the point where he starts praying to God. The irony being he's atheist, showing his desperation. On his albums before, critics would often frame Tyler as someone that is homophobic and a Satanist. And while people are going after him over what he says in his music, there are people genuinely committing verbal and physical acts of violence towards minority groups like the LGBT+ community. He goes on to state that while people are going after him instead of the real culprits, he's somewhere making out with someone. Author playing on the whole books trope that he's been doing. Tyler continues to make really clever literature references, connecting Peter Parker or Spider-Man from the Marvel Comics and the iconic Peter Piper tongue twister, as well as ending with the plot thickens. The plot of a book meaning it's getting interesting. Tyler makes another funny line, speaking from the third person, saying that he will kill someone with a popsicle. This is another way of him mocking the critics that view him as a genuine threat, which could connect back to the idea that there are people harming others with real weapons, while he only has a popsicle. Continuing off the popsicle line, the unnamed individual says that Tyler is a cold-blooded person, and that we should rock mittens so they won't find him. I think this is a very clever line that many might miss, or I might just be looking a little too much into it. I'm just trying to make my videos longer. When you harm someone or kill someone, you usually wear gloves to prevent fingerprints on the weapon. So it's ironic that whoever Tyler's speaking through says that they themselves should wear mittens, so that whoever, presumably the police, don't catch Tyler, which doesn't really make any sense. Another funny way of showing that people are going after Tyler instead of going after people that are actually committing terrible acts. And mittens are used to keep you warm, playing on the idea of coldness again. Not kidding, keep the Tommy on me, bitch, I'm Miss Pickles, with Tommy being like a nickname for a specific gun, but this also references Miss Pickles, the mother of the main character in the show Rugrats, Tommy Pickles. The Rugrats show is about babies or kids, playing on the not kidding part. Tyler says that someone, presumably his team, says that he seems off, leading to the last time that team talked. The team refers to the Odd Future group, which would actually disband a month after Cherry Bomb's release. Tyler says he's sick of making N-words cabbage, so he took off the Supreme. Supreme is a clothing brand that Tyler wore a lot and was one of the things that really made him stand out in the music scene. But as he got more popular, Tyler wearing Supreme started making the brand more popular, supporting this idea by saying that he should have put stock into the company. Many of his fans believe that Tyler's a traitor for leaving Supreme and making his own brand, which I don't really understand. There was no formal collaboration ever till like 2024, which was like recently. So some people need to chill out. Tyler cuts off the previous lines by saying, let him weigh his options, saying that he bought a mansion and some attention. Despite Tyler's decisions that some deem as really bad, those decisions got him wealth and fame. He goes on to say that he didn't give nothing to Hopsin. Hopsin is a rapper that was very much against the idea of Tyler and just the idea of Odd Future in general, saying their music's horrible and like making a diss or something. Tyler didn't reply once, and this actually plays off the bought some attention line, saying that he didn't give any of it to Hopsin's disses. In the same line, Tyler also mentions Boyce Watkins, the person that led the movement against the Mountain Dew commercial we talked about previously. Tyler asks why he's mad and proceeds to kind of like rage bait him by saying that the way he's acting is the slave in him. I think it's rage bait because Boyce Watkins is a very active person in the black community doing a bunch of amazing things for them. He continues with the wild remarks by saying he's back like Rosa Parks' least favorite seat, a pivotal moment in African American history when Rosa Parks refused to go to the back of the bus, where people of color would go during times of segregation in the United States. Ending the verse off, Tyler references videos, stage dives, and pop-ups, with the main idea being that people are watching him. He proceeds to say that while everyone is watching the throne is watching him. Watching the Throne references Jay-Z and Kanye's collab album, Watch the Throne. Also a little nod to later in the album where Kanye is a feature. Tyler sees this as something to brag about since, at the time, Kanye and Jay-Z were some of the biggest names in hip-hop. And it's ironic that people hate Tyler, but don't know that Jay-Z and Kanye are looking at Tyler for music advice. This is even more cool because Kanye wanted to get on Wolf, and Tyler refused. Around that time, most people would kill for a Kanye feature. Okay, so in this first verse, Tyler talks about a lot of different things, but I think there's a rough pattern here, and luckily he clarifies it himself in a Twitter post. Buffalo is cool, I just had to actually address some things. Listen very close though, smiley face. From this, we can see the many different things he's addressing. The Mountain Dew situation, his constant use of the F slur, and his decision to no longer rep Supreme's clothes. All of these are deliberate decisions made by Tyler, and he tells us, yeah, and what of it? A strong representation of his confidence, even in his most polarizing moments. We approach an interlude accompanied by Shane Powers, an MC from Dash Radio. Him and Tyler have always been very close, and this was one of Shane's first big contributions to Tyler's work. And spoiler alert, he comes back once again on this album, and he'll actually make another appearance in Flower Boy. Shane delivers a very scary threat to Tyler, saying that there's a lot of kids watching right now that are listening to Tyler and are anticipating what he's gonna do next or say. I've mentioned previously that Tyler's music tends to resonate well with younger audiences. Not like super young kids, but like, you know, 8th graders, freshmen, like that age. A lot of these kids are very impressionable because kids are impressionable. I was at that age, everybody was at that age at some point. Shane is reminding Tyler that he has amassed a wide audience and he's become kind of a role model. Of course, don't worship or idolize these people because you don't truly know them. But of course, there are people that will see Tyler as some sort of role model through his music, often developing a kind of relationship with him, his character, or his music. He goes on to tell, presumably Tyler, to get his wings flapping. That idea will become more important in our next episode. In this interlude, Tyler comes in saying, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, N-word, N-word on the wall. Two tropes are mentioned here, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and mirror, mirror on the wall, replaced with the N-word. The idea of the mirror represents destiny and choices and that kind of stuff. Additionally, if you are familiar with the end of the counting trope, catch a tiger by its toe, not really a great fact, but back then, instead of tiger, it was the N-word. Tyler goes on to say rap bars, jail bars, die or shoot a basketball. Tyler goes on to criticize an issue within the black community due to social issues like systemic racism. Many young black males' future or path ends up being very narrow at times. They'll either be in jail or dead. And Tyler adds another stereotype by saying they'll either rap or play basketball, criticizing both sides regardless if it's good or bad. Young black boys shouldn't be pressured to go into these routes. Also very reflective, mirror the mirror trope. That's really cool that I wrote that there and not even notice. But this also reflects Tyler himself, a rapper that was very non-traditional in his style, rapping, and production, and never truly adopting the rapping stereotype. Tyler satirically exemplifies himself by referencing this iconic photo. Short story short, Tyler had a festival he was doing. The festival was so crazy that he was arrested for inciting a riot. Tyler emphasizes his strong influence by saying that the cops knew him because his kids loved his show, Loiter Squad. At the end of this little interlude, Shane comes in once again saying to Tyler to not screw this up. The whole world is in his hands. This could represent the amount of pressure Tyler has on himself, having so much influence on his audience. What example will he set? Tyler might also feel like this due to his immense wealth. Verse 2 begins with Tyler asking, how many leaders are in the house? Well, can somebody bring out the mirrors because I am getting lonely? For the first time, Tyler transparently acknowledges his position of leadership, likes and apologies, and snaps makes it obvious that everybody on the planet is lacking confidence. Tyler means to say that people only really do things for the clicks, having no ambition to do the things they want to do, regardless of how many people approve of it. Tyler asks for someone to bring out the camera so they can film him. He's a great director, N-word's vision must be blurry. This is a reference to the same clever line we saw on Death Camp, but it adds a little more to it. Tyler says that his haters have blurry vision, unable to see his vision, adding to the idea of someone's vision, someone's plan to create something great, with things like camera, film, and director relating to film or cinematography. He continues by making another crazy joke. I get them epic shots like jaywalking in Missouri. While shots also plays on the film line, they can also relate to gunshots, possibly making reference to the tragedy of Michael Brown, a black man shot by a police officer for allegedly jaywalking. Tyler asks for someone to pour him a drink because he doesn't know what to think. All these N-words leaning like Forrest Whitaker's blink. Forrest Whitaker is a popular actor and I guess he has a slanted blink. I don't know, he seems fine to me. But considering the drink line, leaning could be him referencing lean, a drink mixed with cough syrup, soda, and then sometimes other stuff. Further pointing to the fact that he sees no true role models, many, presumably rappers, glorifying the idea of drug abuse. Tyler finishes the track by saying the leader's line one more time, and he notes that nobody has their hands up, and that's the problem. So on Buffalo, the clear theme is about role models and leaders. He starts off the track by doubling down on his decisions that are deemed controversial, that could harm his role model status. But he argues decisions such as his use of the F slur is nothing compared to the people that are actually committing hateful acts and leading the youth astray. These decisions also benefited him, such as when he took off the Supreme to stop making $1 billion company money and made his own brand. Generally speaking, there are a lot of people that don't really represent good intentions. Some of these people have the ability to make change, but they don't do anything about making actual change, leading followers down limiting mindsets and sometimes even partaking in acts that are not good for them. And ultimately, that is what is wrong. Tyler seeks to solve this issue though, and we'll just have to wait what he proposes as a solution in our next episode. And that concludes our analysis of Buffalo. I hope you all enjoyed the video.